came up with this concept? Who came up with the Headbangers gimmick?
Jim Cornette. When we were wrestling in Arkansas for Ozark Mountain Wrestling, and we got a message to call Cornette. He was interested in bringing us in. But back then we were wrestling as the Spiders. And Cornette basically called us and he said, listen, I'd like to bring you boys in. He goes, but I hate the masks. I hate the spiders. He was actually, you're going to laugh at this. He told us he was in New York at a Glenn Danzig concert. And he said these guys there was like a big mosh pit. They were beating the shit out of each other. They were spitting on each other. They were pierced. They had piercings, tattoos. He said they were wearing dresses and skirts. And he goes, it was just chaos. He goes, but the way their attitudes were and the way your guys kind of are, you're from that area. He goes, I think you could make this work. He goes, not that I'm expecting to get piercings or tattoos or wear dresses or skirts or anything like that. He goes, it's just kind of an idea. So it was his original idea. And when we showed up our first day at Smoky Mountain, he handed me a Slayer shirt. He handed Glenn a Metallica shirt. And we had shorts and sneakers and boots on. Like, we really had no idea what the gimmick was going to be. And as it went on, we just kind of evolved it into what it is now. So it was originally his idea. I mean, we even went out there. We didn't even know our names. He goes, you're going to be Headbangers. You're probably going to be Mosh. You're going to be like Slasher or something. And Glenn changed that to Thrasher because of Slash. But it was literally on the fly, on TV, doing an interview where we came up with names.
Yep.
Wow. And so how comfortable were when someone's handing you a skirt, to wear in 1998, 99, because this is in such a different time than we are in now. What was the comfort level?
It didn't really happen like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we came up with the skirt. So we were still in Smoky Mountain. The problem we were having, just not with the crowd or anybody in the locker room, it was just us saying
identity-wise.
So we looked like PG-13, except we were twice as big. PG-13, T-shirts, shorts, sneakers. So we were walking around a thrift store, and I, as a kind of a joke, wandered over to the women's aisle and grabbed the
as he does from time to time.
Of course.
It happens. It happens. I grabbed the skirt, put it on, and I walked out into the middle of the aisle, and he turns the corner. He's like, no, absolutely not. And I went, listen, I said, this is kind of the thing. It's going to be different. And, we buy a skirt, we try it out. And if it doesn't work, we don't do it anymore. And he was like, nope, not doing it. So after about 35 seconds, I convinced him to put the skirt. We put them on. And the funniest part about it is we put them on in the locker room, and we were very hesitant to put them on in front of all the boys. You got Tracy Smothers, you got
Brad Armstrong.
Yeah, you have Brad.
Buddy Landau.
Robert are in there. And we're putting these skirts on, and they're all looking at us, and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, Glenn's like, see, told you. And I'm like, we're just trying something different. Like, just see what happens. And Cornette said the same thing. He kind of looked at us, and he went, okay, like, let's see. We went out. We got so much heat here we are. We're right outside Knoxville. And, we got a bunch of rednecks, and they're yelling at us. They're calling us sissies. They're calling us fat. They're calling us everything you could possibly think of. We got in the back. Cornette looks at us. He goes, where'd you buy those? We said thrift store. He handed us each $20. He goes, go buy more. You now wear skirts.
Wow. Because it all worked out for you. Even wearing like bras and wearing, there's petting in there as well. Again, what is the level of comfort for you, and what's the level of, you're getting a lot of heat, but is that, too much heat sometimes when you're leaving the arena?
The bras came way later.
Oh, in 2000. Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
and the bras still have heat with us.
It's still something that we don't like to talk about or look at. But the skirts it was just, we were in the Bible Belt, and we had to separate ourselves identity-wise from everyone else. We saw Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses on the stage wearing a kilt and a skirt and stuff like that. And we were like, man, that's a great idea. And then I never really thought of ever doing it until Chaz was like, let's just try it. Let's just try it. And I'll tell you what, it's the most comfortable thing to wrestle in ever. So yeah, it's, our whole gimmick cost us, $10 at the thrift store.
Wow. Hey, some gear costs a lot of money.
Yep.
A couple of bucks here and there gave you a lifetime of memories and money in your pocket. So,
but it's funny because
go ahead.
It's funny because when we actually started with WWE, we came in as the Headbangers. Everybody wants to think that we came in as, the Nuns and stuff like that, but we came in, our tryout was with the Headbangers. We came in as the Headbangers because Smoky Mountain was closing. So Cornette was trying to get all his guys, put into a spot and stuff like that. And that's when they were trying to turn Saturday morning wrestling into, matches and have it more competitive. So they were looking for TV guys to be more competitive. So we were, we did the tryout, Vince and Shane and Stephanie, we all they knew us from going up there and doing jobs before. So they were just like, this is awesome. This is great. We were signed to a part-time deal.
Wow. Yeah, it's funny. I'm glad you clarified that because at least for historians, that we all believe that you came in as the Nuns, and then someone goes, that's not working, and then the Headbangers are created. So you kind of just fixed Wikipedia, and you fixed everybody who thinks that's the narrative.
So the whole thing was supposed to be, they were going to intertwine the Headbangers and the Nuns together and go, these guys are just so out of their minds crazy. They don't care what they wear. They just want to fight. So, but unfortunately, the Nuns got squashed, really quick because of, religion rights or, religious people and whatnot. So we never told that tale. But they are still undefeated.
They are undefeated.
Well, hey.
And I have a shirt that says it.
That's right.
Can we buy that somewhere?
You can buy that at ProWrestlingTees.com.
There you go. Yeah, you gotta slip that in there. Of course, you have to get the website in there. That's amazing to know this. And coming in though, at the time, Marilyn Manson's huge, and Korn and Limp Bizkit. So there's an audience that is hungry for people like them on TV, especially a wrestling program. And you gave them that opportunity. Have people come up to you over the years and said, like, I related to you. When I saw you, I saw myself.
All the time. We have so many people that have come up to us over the years and been like, just the way, because our whole thing was, because people would say, well, why do you wear skirts? Well, because we can. Why do you have piercings? Because we can. What's with the tattoos? Because we can. Is it hurting anyone? No, it's us just showing our individuality. It's us just being ourselves. And if you're not hurting anyone, who cares what you wear and what you're doing? Like, that's your own personal brand. That's you. It doesn't really matter. So over the years, we've legit had, we've had gay guys come up to us. We've had lesbians come up to us. We had people with tattoos and piercings. Like, you made us feel better about ourselves in high school when we felt like we were an outsider doing something wrong. You made us feel better about ourselves, and we were able to accept ourselves even more. We actually had a girl come up to us one time in an appearance, and she said because of the way we were portraying ourselves and what we were doing, she was able to explain it to her dad watching us on TV, and then that made her and her dad closer, and her dad actually ended up accepting who she was even more because of us on TV. And again, there wasn't a message we were trying to get across. We were just being ourselves. We're two goofballs that just happened to be on TV to have a good time. That's all it was. But
it's a great story. Again, the fact that people related to you was such a positive thing. Your shirt at the time, "Real Men Wear Skirts," was such a iconic slogan because, again, you're thinking like in 1988, 1989, the world isn't that accepting, but yet there's a whole group of people who are accepting of this and love it so much. You wore a skirt, but like Roddy Piper wore a kilt. Did you ever have conversations, or did that ever cross over? If it was like, hey, you're wearing skirts, I'm wearing a kilt. But for years, Roddy Piper, if you were a bad guy, would call, hey, you're wearing a skirt, Roddy.
It was so funny that we saw him at a show. It was the Gathering of Juggalos. It was that big Juggalo gathering and stuff like that. He was there, and we were there, and we were in the back and stuff like that. He came over to us, and he was like, I love it. And that's all he said, walked away, gave us a big hug and stuff like that, and he goes, I love it. Like, he didn't feel, because it was different. He wore, a kilt because it was part of his nationality and his background and stuff like that. We wear them because we just feel like it, because we can. Kind of thing.
His kilt he takes off. Like, we leave the skirts on. He takes his kilt off when he's wrestling. And the other funny part is so many people come up and they go, oh, so you wear kilts? I'm like, no, it's a skirt. They're like, no, it's a kilt. I'm like, you're really telling me what I wear? It's a skirt. I'm like, look at the back of the T-shirt where it says real men wear skirts. It doesn't say real men wear kilts. It's a skirt.